Professor, um capítulo muito interessante do seu livro, diria até surpreendente, é quando o senhor aborda a questão da corrupção. A corrupção, ela seria, nas suas palavras, endêmica a regimes de capitalismo político. O senhor, inclusive, o senhor cita alguns casos, como a própria China, o Vietnã, a Rússia, cria uma tabela com países que teriam o capitalismo político, seriam países com níveis de corrupção mais altos do que a média do mundo. Em compensação, o senhor argumenta que também são países que cresceram mais do que a média. Então, eu acho que valeria um pouco a gente o senhor elaborar sobre esse tema, para a gente entender se há uma relativização da corrupção. Aqui, o Brasil, nós temos um problema seríssimo histórico de corrupção, um país que já teve político sendo associado a rouba mais faz, enfim, até uma ideia de que um pouco de corrupção é tolerável em nome do crescimento econômico. Como é que o senhor elaboraria mais essa questão para a gente entender se existe uma corrupção tolerável ou não?
Yes, actually, let me put it in a context. You know, when I discuss political capitalism, as you said, I argue that corruption is endemic to political capitalism because political capitalism has two features which generate corruption. One feature is a bureaucracy that in political capitalism, like in China or Vietnam, is a bureaucracy that is, in principle, efficient and tries to follow the rules. However, because political capitalism has to rely on discretionary use of the rules, it really limits the ability of bureaucracy in all cases to follow the rules. They might follow in many cases where people do not have political influence. But in cases, the rule of law really stops applying. So what is called the areas of lawlessness, not only the area of lawlessness where actually there is no police, but the area of lawlessness where you actually cannot pursue some people who have political power. So they essentially are that, you know, inherent corruption in such a system. However, it does not mean that inherent corruption necessarily is linked with lower growth. And we have actually seen attempts in the case of China in particular to unbundle the corruption. And I think it's a very sort of a promising approach where actually different types of corruptions are not really considered equally bad. There's some corruption, which is called access corruption, where basically it's really a profit-sharing mechanism between the government officials who are allowing certain investment to take place and private businessmen who are making that investment. So in other words, you are essentially giving that right of investment to a private businessman, or private company, but you're also taking part of money for yourself. So it's really like a profit-sharing mechanism. It does not look good, but on the other hand, it enables investments to take place, and to some extent, it's recovered through higher and faster growth. So this is the argument to distinguish, for example, that type of access corruption from the other corruption where you basically do clear embezzlement of government funds. You steal the government funds. So I think it makes sense to actually disentangle or distinguish between different types of corruption. But secondly, I also want to mention that with globalization and with ability to move money between different jurisdictions much more easily, we have now a generalized corruption. So it is not only the case of China or political capitalism. We have corruption that has really spread to practically all countries in the world. Of course, I know that in Brazil, it is a big issue, which led to, of course, to the fall of government and, of course, to Lula being put in jail and Dilma being impeached. But it is a problem which is worldwide. And I think that economists who are not really in the business of ethics of of morality, have to accept corruption as basically a rent. It's yet another type of income that we should try to include in our studies of inequality, much more than we have been able to do before. So I think it is really a linkage between globalization and corruption, which needs to be studied much more than we have done.